What is up, everybody? My name is Bobby. I do music. Today, we are checking out the MXR Sub Machine as I get things set back up here. So the MXR Sub Machine is itself based on the MXR LA machine or La machine, which itself is based on the Fox Tone machine, which was an octave fuzz from back in the day, an octave up fuzz. Similar to the Octavia that Jimi Hendrix used, but its own thing. And yeah, I've got it on the board. It's a fun little fuzz. I don't use it all that often, but it's there when I need it, and it does some very specific things that nothing else in my collection does. So let's talk about it. Today, as usual, the Ibanez S320 with the DiMarzio D-Activators. You heard it on the next single coil. We're going to jump around with the pickups. I'm going to try to remember to tell you which ones I'm on, because I know you can't see this when it's down here. Forgive me if I mess up. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. So, guitar into the Sub Machine, into the Synergy BMan module, which I have set to sound like this. Go to the neck bridge pickup. The next single coil. So just starting to break up there into my 2-notes Torpedo Live with the same Mesa Boogie 4x12 setup that I always run, into just a touch of delay and reverb from the Walrus, Mako, R1 and D1. So the Sub Machine, it's called the Sub Machine because it's got a sub octave, which itself is on its own knob here, and it's got a series parallel switch, which we'll get into, but let's just start with the core fuzz tone itself. So we've got the octave switch off, we've got the sub completely out, we are strictly dealing with this bypass button, volume, tone, and fuzz. And here is what that sounds like. So that's the fuzz on its own there. Let's mess with the tone controls first, because it is a bright fuzz. So we'll wind the tone up and down. You can hear how bright and how dark it gets. Plenty of top end for you. Let's run it back to something sensible here. It kind of, to me, lives somewhere between a big muff and a fuzz fade. It's got a little bit of that bite, but it's still kind of thick. But it doesn't do the fuzz face thing where you roll the volume back. It's still fuzzy. So that's the tone. Let's go through the fuzz control all the way down. We get this. That's our fuzz. Now, we've got the octave switch, which brings in that, I forget the exact way it does it in the circuit, but it like folds the note back on itself and it just generates an octave. So it's not the same as putting like a Digitech whammy or something with an octave up into it. It's its own kind of thing. And you get that Jimi Hendrix kind of Foxy Lady Purple Haze sort of thing going on. So without... Little pro tip, if you have an octave fuzz like this and you really want to accentuate the octave, the upper octave, neck pickup, single coils tend to work best, and kind of playing around this area, so sort of the like 7th fret to 15th tends to bring it out. And if you roll the volume back a little, it helps too, but roll the volume back. Now, if you go bridge pickup, humbucker, and down to the, the lower end of the neck here, it doesn't really come across as an octave. It just comes across as like this upper nastiness, which can be a cool thing. But yeah, to get that love that. So we've got that. I'm going to take the octave out now and we can focus on the sub section where it adds a sub octave. We've got the sub knob, which just blends in the lower octave. And it's a single note digital tracking thing. So it's not going to be a polyphonic. You can't strum a chord. If you do, it'll dance all over the place trying to find the right note. So I recommend sticking with single lines for this sort of thing. And again, the neck pickup, generally speaking, is going to track a little bit better. And I can demonstrate that for you too. If I go bridge pickup, humbucker, and just wail on a low E and bring the sub in here. If you're listening on headphones, it can be a little bit easier to tell. It's kind of jumping octaves. And if I like play a chord, it has no idea what's going on. So single notes with the neck pickup tend to be the way to go. And now you've heard it with the sub about halfway up. Of course, we have range here, so. You could have it completely dominate your signal. And right now, we've got this series button out. So it's routing it in parallel. So the octave is its own separate line from the fuzz. If we hit the series button, it will throw the sub octave into the fuzz with the regular guitar signal. And it gives you a completely different vibe. So here's in parallel mode. Let me set that back just a little bit. So that's in parallel. Let's put it in series. So yeah, that's the sub going series. And again, you can blend it to taste, so you bring it back a way. Much more subtle, but you can hear it just a little bit there. Take it out of series. Sounds a little bit more like a bass player's playing along with you, which, depending on what I'm doing, like for a stoner rock sort of thing, either way really works, but I love that sort of like... Or, you know, if I bring the fuzz back a little bit, bring the tone up a little bit. Now we've got something similar to that sort of thing. I know that's a different effect, but it reminds me of that. So yeah, we've got that. You bring the fuzz and the sub octave and the upper octave together, you get all of the nastiness. With the octave up in and the sub in the series mode, now that sub octave is also contributing to that folding back on itself octave, upper octave generation sort of thing. Take it back to parallel mode. And it's just this massive sound that takes up a ton of space. And it's so fun. It's not something I use all the time every day. I probably put it on my board to mess around with maybe once a month, but man, whatever I do, it's just super fun to mess around with. So yeah, that's been the MXR Sub Machine, my little purple box here, as it were. You guys have been wonderful. I appreciate you so much. Subscribing. Please continue to do so. Like and subscribe. Leave comments. Let me know what you guys think. And I will catch you in the next video. Bye-bye. Subwoofy, sub. Wait, sub. Is that? Now I'm hungry. I want a sub sandwich.